A long-ago memory made Hope Herring look off into the distance. Less than a year ago, she'd stood at the counter slicing tomatoes and arranging them on a salad she was preparing. She was no chef, so the salad was simple: lettuce, cucumbers, carrots, celery, tomatoes. She added the tomatoes even though Cori, her daughter, didn't like them. They were yucky, which meant their texture didn't meet Cori's refined tastes. Not that Cori had refined tastes. She was a fast food lover, and like most of her classmates and friends, a Big Mac often beat a salad, hands down. What else could a mother expect in the 21st century? The fast food industry spent billions producing the best-tasting food in the world, and billions more on catchy jingles and advertisements. Hope glanced out the window. In the backyard, Cori was kicking the soccer ball against the tall wooden fence. Hope knew that the kicking was really for Doug, her husband, and Cori's father. Doug possessed a far greater interest in soccer and other sports than his daughter ever did. Cori would practice only as long as Doug was watching, but it would never last long. Since she wasn't invested in developing her skills, Cori was mediocre at best. She wasn't going to put a lot of time and effort into an activity that didn't produce a higher payoff. Most of the time, people liked to practice what they were good at, and only the driven practiced what they weren't good at. Doug had stood at the grill, tending the hamburgers and hot dogs, or as he liked to call them, tube steaks. Doug had a penchant for making up fun phrases to describe everyday things. That was one of the traits that made him a good writer and an even better reporter. He could reduce something to its essence, to a minimum of words that would fit into a 500-word news article. Doug liked to say that constraints weren't bad things because constraints taught creativity. Anyone could write sloppy essays filled with the adjectives and adverbs the author needed because he or she was too lazy to search out the right word. It took a good writer to turn out work under the constraints of reporting and news deadlines. Doug could do that. Hope had watched as her husband smiled and yelled something to Cori, who shrugged and continued her half-hearted kicking of the soccer ball. It was good to see Doug smile, something he hadn't been doing a lot of at the time. He was working on a story, and the research was taking him places he didn't want to go. Not that he told his wife about those places or those people. He said it was better that she didn't know what he was doing. She was safer that way. To Hope, it sounded as if he was having some sort of affair, but she knew that was the last thing he would ever do. Their family was the most important thing to both of them.